Well, the last few weeks in crypto have been rather interesting to say the least. Of course, things have been rather slow, nothing's really been all that exciting, but over the last week or so, things have gotten really ugly with most of the market falling anywhere from 7 to 20%. And so in today's video, I want to talk about the fact that I am under the belief that this market crash could continue, exactly what you need to be on the lookout for, how you can prepare for it, and much more. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. So today we're going to be mostly focused on the Bitcoin chart. So we're going to talk about what exactly is happening right here, what this means for the market, and what I am expecting as a result of it. Now, the first thing that I want to say is that what we are seeing is rather normal and rather healthy, especially in comparison to what we've seen historically. Okay, what you can see here is, let's actually go over to Benjamin Cohen's Twitter, because this is actually something he posted a few weeks ago. He kind of called this on the head, and so with that, I do believe he deserves some credit. What you can see here is that he says, during the last 3 pre-halving years, Bitcoin fell below its bull market support band in August through September. The purpose of this correction is to flush out as many of the scams and cash grabs prior to the halving. No guarantee it happens this time, but certainly a strong possibility. And what you can see here is that, as he mentioned before, the year before the halvings, the year before the bull runs usually come, we can see that Bitcoin falls below its bull market support band before recapturing it and continuing it. And falls below it before recapturing it and continue, falls below it before recapturing it and continuing. And what you can see is that today, Bitcoin has now officially fell back below its bull market support band. Now, historically, one would assume that this means that we are in the final flush out, that the price could, of course, recapture that bull market support band eventually and continue upwards, and this is somewhat on track to what we have been seeing over the last few years. And so although this does feel scary, it's really nothing out of the usual, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's just going to cause probably a couple more problems, a couple more companies are going to go under, and then we should be on about our way to continue into what could be a bull market relatively soon once liquidity does enter the market. Now, with that in mind, and now that we know that this is healthy, let's talk a little bit about what exactly we should be looking out for and what I'm expecting the price of Bitcoin to do and how this impacts the rest of the alts. Now, guys, make sure as you are doing some of your trading over the next few weeks, you're using the link down below. Go sign up for BitGet, deposit a little bit of money, get trading, and you can earn up to $8,000. This is by far the best campaign that there is on YouTube for an exchange right now. And so if you do want to take advantage of it, if you want access to free funds that you can use for trading, especially as this thing is going to start getting pretty volatile soon, use the link down below, get up to $8,000. Again, this isn't going to last forever, so take advantage of it while the time is right. But with that in mind, again, let's get back to Bitcoin. So when I look at this thing right now, okay, what I'm very, very obviously noticing is a key level of resistance and support, or known as a key level of liquidity, right here at $25,300. What you can see is that historically, whether it's from this key point of resistance from July of 2022, this key point of resistance from February of 2023, this key point of support from June of 2023, or where we are currently, this is the line in which we have decided whether or not we're going to continue back in the upwards direction or if we're going to continue back in the downwards direction. This is the level of rejection. This is a liquidity level of rejection, otherwise known as the LR zone. Now, with this LR zone, what I am paying the most amount of attention to is, well, do we get rejected? Because generally speaking, if we get rejected off of a liquidity rejection zone, we will continue pretty strong in the opposite direction. I mean, look back here. We got a strong continuation down. Right here, we got a strong continuation down. Right here, we got a strong continuation up. So the question then becomes, do we get another continuation upwards, or do we break through it? If we break through a liquidity rejection zone, you will almost always see a pretty substantial crash to the downside. The price will usually fall through it, backtest it, establish it as resistance, and then see the full rejection similar to what you have seen historically in these prior times. And so with that in mind, what I would go and say is that if we do see Bitcoin lose $25,334, there's a very, very substantial chance that its price does start coming back down towards what I believe to be $20,300 for a crash of what could easily be somewhere around 20% to the downside. Now, of course, this is not guaranteed, but some of our indicators from the structural basis and a technical basis do agree with this. Now, from a structural basis, what I would go ahead and say is that we have a very obvious double top forming, right? Now, the double top has this level here, this mid level of support. Now, whenever you have a double top of this nature, what you're going to do is pay attention to this key level, the MLS right here. Boom. If this level is lost, you will usually go then the distance from the top of your double top to that level and apply it to the bottom of that level. That gives you your breakdown zone. As you can see here, your breakdown zone for this double top aligns directly with your 618 to 786 Fibonacci zone from this swing low to this swing high. Just another indicator that this zone here is likely where the price is going. Not only that, though, what you can't see is that our price is still looking pretty decent on the chart prime oscillator, but it does have a lot of room to work to the downside. From a technical technical perspective, when I see a weekly chart prime oscillator that just lost this 50% threshold and seems to be directly on track towards the bottom side of the oscillator, especially after seeing, bearish divergence, a bearish reversal pattern, a double top somewhat established here from this previous point of resistance, which was the top of our bull market. And then right here, this kind of just tells me, look, we're very likely in a situation in which we're going to see this chart prime oscillator need a full reset or somewhere back towards these key levels, similar to what we saw back here, right? And considering the fact that we have so much room to work to the downside still, we're not getting any indication down here that this thing is even close to being reversed to the upside. What I would go ahead and say is that that does support the idea that some type of pullback towards this lower $20,000 to $18,000 level could very easily be on the way. Now, with all of this in mind, of course, there is an opportunity that I'm wrong, but what I would say is that if I am wrong and this thing does get rejected to the upside, we would then be in some type of range, okay? We would be range bound, and at that point, the only thing you can do is wait for this thing to break this double top, wait for it to break 31,000 to the upside, and then at that point, you can be sure that this thing is going to continue. But until then, there's so little confirmation to the upside until we break this level that it's just very hard to get behind that idea, okay? And so with that in mind, what I would go ahead and say is at this given point, if the price does start to pull back below $25,330, I am going to start doing some small accumulation on the way. I'm actually not going to start shorting Bitcoin, and the reason being is because 2023 is going to be the year in which the bulls and the bears get wrecked, okay? I'm not confident betting in either direction at this given point over the short term. In the long term, I'm quite aware that Bitcoin's probably going to see some type of upward movement at some point. But in the short term, it's so easy for it to get shot to the upside or shot to the downside that opening up leverage trades to the upside or to the downside simply just isn't my thing. I don't think it's the best thing to do. And if we are at the end of the bear market, in which this could be the last pullback, I just don't see the point in risking shorting it when I could simply just be dollar cost averaging in and buying. Okay. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. This is what I'm expecting from Bitcoin. And I will keep you guys up to date as this does play out. All you have to do is make sure you do subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss another video. But with that said, make sure you do stay tuned for the next update, as I will talk about the altcoins and what this means for them. So I look forward to seeing you all soon. Have an absolutely amazing day. Peace out, everybody.